Welcome back to Copper Star Precision, the channel dedicated to getting you more points at your competitive shooting matches. Today we're continuing on with the July 2023 NRL22 Course of Fire. This is stage 4 in the booklet. Sun's out, guns out, our prone stage of the match. Now prone stages are relatively straightforward because there's not really positional things, but they always kind of throw some tricks in there. Make sure you have the order right, and we'll go over that stage description as follows. There is a restriction on this stage. It says that no dialing is allowed. Only magnification and parallax can be adjusted. It is a 12-round stage also, so if you have 10-round magazines, you have to incorporate a mag change somewhere. So, stage description. On the SAR signal, assume a prone supported position and engage the targets with one shot each in the following order. Middle far 1-inch KYL, middle far 3/4 inch, middle far 1/2 inch, middle far 1/4 inch. So essentially middle far and then the next largest KYL target that you haven't engaged yet. All shot or hit or miss, move on. So there's no hit to move on the KYL rack or anything like that. We have targets at 35 yards, 60 yards, and 90 yards. I'll put the target sizes up here. And because we can't dial, we really have to know our dope for this stage. We're gonna have to use holdovers. Now I always recommend, because the KYL targets are, generally speaking, the smallest and hardest to hit targets of the match, we're always gonna dial for that KYL target so that we can just get right on the crosshairs and just worry about making good hold, fundamentals of marksmanship, and making a win call if we need to on that KYL target, which are the hardest targets to hit. So for me, my dope is -0.2. For the 60-yard targets, it's 0.27, so let's call that 0.3 of a mil. So the difference there is a half. That's pretty lucky. So I can just hold on my 1/2 mil hash mark for the middle target. And the far target is 1.39. We can call that 1.4. So the difference between positive 1.4 and negative 0.2 is 1.6 mils. So I'm just gonna call it 1.5 because I have 1/2 mil hash marks. So we're gonna do basically straight up for the close targets, 0.5 mil hold, and then 1.5 mil hold for the far target. So we're starting on the middle target, so I'd have everything dialed. I'd have dialed down -2. And then we're gonna remember that we're gonna have to hold a half, and I have my parallax set for the target. Now, what I recommend here is, because we're not doing any movements, I would experiment with just making sure the parallax is okay. Because you may want to, I generally like to engage the KYL target at almost my max magnification, 24x. That might make targets harder to find. And it's gonna definitely introduce parallax errors, because the higher the magnification, the more pronounced the effect of parallax. So kind of get in the habit of, when you're in the prone position like this, and you're on the rifle, we're gonna find that middle target. Our parallax is probably already set for that 60-yard target. I know I have to hold a half, so I'm going to engage, hopefully hit. And then I'm looking over the top of my scope, and I'm using my left hand to sort of steer the rifle in the direction of the next target. Because I'll probably want to be on high magnification. You can start lower, and you'll probably want to zoom in for the KYL target, but you don't want to be messing with magnification so much on the clock. So I would probably actually start the stage at max magnification, because I know I want to be there for the KYL target. Your preference may be different, but get down on target. Again, looking over, right over my scope, looking at the tip of my barrel, looking at the scope cap, looking at the turret down here, everything in line with the target that I should be able to see with my naked eye. Come into the scope and it should be there, okay? Now what I'm doing is, if you find yourself trying to find targets at high magnification through the scope, it's probably gonna be a bad time. And the reason for that is, like, it's so zoomed in and your field of view is crap. So what I might do is, I don't even have to take my cheek off the cheek piece here. I'm just gonna look up kind of right over the scope, and I'm gonna kind of use my left hand, my support hand, if you're a right-handed shooter, and kind of just drive the rifle into the general area, and then I can look back to the scope. If you keep looking to the scope the whole time to find targets, you might get a little dizzy, so I can just do a quick look up, find the second target, and then what I might do, I'm holding this here because I want to stay on target. And once I find the target, I don't want to have to hunt for it again. So I'm not going to move this hand and then all of a sudden the rifle drops and I'm off target. So I'm going to keep this here, and then what I'll do is I'll reach over the top, adjust parallax, don't touch your elevation knob, I'll just parallax, and from here, boom, I'm still on the glass, right? Because I've been adjusting parallax, I'm looking at the target the whole time. So I'm here, and all of a sudden, I can just, once I have the parallax, I'm closing the bolt as I'm coming down to the trigger, and I'm right there, saving a lot of time. So we engage the far target there, open the bolt, same thing, kind of just do a little look up over the top of the scope, find the KYL target, come back down, hopefully it's in our sights. Again, reach over the top, Adjust parallax, find the target. Take a little bit more time on these shots because they're harder. And we're going to engage there. And then it's back to the middle. So really think about driving the rifle with that support hand, squeezing the bag, looking right over the top of the scope to find the targets instead of maybe hunting if you're going to use higher magnification. You can use lower magnification, that's fine. You're going to have a better field of view, you're going to have less parallax error. But for me personally, trying to engage those KYL targets, I almost always do it at the max magnification because they are tiny. Luckily this time they're only at 35 yards, but essentially what I'm doing is I'm driving the rifle with my support hand, I'm adjusting parallax with my right hand, and because I'm not letting go of this, I never lose sight of the target. Once I find it, I'm in the scope, I'm adjusting parallax so it's perfect, and on the way down, because I'm still in scope, I'm not sky loading because I can still see the target, I come over the top, adjust the parallax, come down, activate the bolt, transition right into my trigger, my finger being on the trigger, ready to engage. And then all I have to do after that is worry about breathing and breaking a clean shot. So that really simplifies things when you can reach over, do the parallax, bolt, and get on the trigger in one motion while using this hand to stay perfectly on the target. And then just making a good shot call after that. So hopefully that helps you save a little time and be a little bit more efficient in your mechanical movement during the stage. Know your dope. Don't touch the elevation dial because you have to, if you have locking turrets, I would lock it down so you're not even tempted to touch it. And other than that, it's a pretty straightforward stage. So with that said, I hope these tips and tricks helped. If they did, like this video, comment down below. And until I see you next time, as always, score more points.